and welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today we are introducing our new set, Extra Special Easter, and its coordinating dies. So let's go ahead and stamp it out. First we have this cute little chocolate bunny with the bite out of his ear, and then his little chocolate bunny friend. We have a great Easter basket filled with Easter eggs, a tulip, a plain Easter egg, an Easter egg open with jelly beans. I love this image. I think it's so cute. A little stripy Easter egg, a pile of jelly beans, and a solid jelly bean too. We also have a little heart, and a smiley face, of course. And you can use this smiley face to add it to the Easter eggs in the basket, both of the other Easter eggs. It's so much fun just to give them that little happy face look. We have some great sentiments. Have an extra special day. Happy Easter, of course. And you're irresistible, which is one of my favorites. Then, of course, we have our exclamation point that you can add to the end of all of the phrases. Next up, I'm going to be coloring these images with my copic markers, and I'm using my same technique that I love to do, which is leaving the area that I want to be lightest at the end of all my coloring white up until I fill it in with my lightest marker. And that keeps me from oversaturating the paper and making my images too dark. So I'm going in and just using these two markers. I have an E29 out there, but I ended up not using it because I thought it was pretty dark already with E25 and E27. So I ended up not using that E29, but that could look really nice too with some extra shading or make him a dark chocolate bunny. And so you can see there I'm doing the shading under the bow and at the back of the bunny and around his legs, just to give it a little something. And now I'm going to use the same idea for the other chocolate bunny. So my shading's going to go around the bow, behind the ear, and then I'm going to blend out that darker marker with my light marker. And I love that you can get a really dynamic look with just two markers. Now I'll switch to my lighter marker and blend all of those edges out and then fill in the parts that I hadn't colored yet. Then I had to fill in his little tail. I had forgotten to color that part in. And now I'm just adding a little bit of purple to the bows. I thought that would look really nice with that dark chocolate brown. And now I can start coloring the basket. So I'm just going to use these three shades here and just kind of add shades there around the basket and at those little braids there, and then all around just to make it look like it is a weaved basket. So I'll blend out the medium with the light, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of that darker marker. I'll add some shading under the little braided part of the basket and just blend that right out. And now I'm going to color this bow the same way I did the chocolate bunny bows. That way they could coordinate if I wanted to put all the images together in one card. I'm touching the tip to the marker to help myself blend between that really light shade and the medium shade. Now I realized I forgot to stamp the smiley faces on the other two Easter eggs, but I am going to have to do some masking. So I went ahead and stamped the basket on some post-it note tape, and I'm just going to cut around those Easter eggs so that I can protect them when I'm stamping my smiley face. So now I'm just going to lay that right over my image, and then I can add a smiley face. Right there, you'll see the reveal to the back one. And then now I'm just going to protect the edge of the basket there. And then I can stamp this smiley face. And that way you can see that the smiley faces look like they're hidden behind either the basket or one of the other eggs. And then now I can color in my Easter eggs. And I'm just using 2 markers because these are pretty small images, so I don't want to oversaturate them. And really with 2 markers you can get a lot of shading. So I'll go ahead and color in all of these Easter eggs in the same way. So we're going to go super speed here. I'm just coloring darker towards the bottom and then lighter towards the top. And now I'll color in my tulip, and these 3 yellows are my absolute favorite yellows. They're just so pretty. I love them, and so I'm going to create some shading there in the fold of the tulip and on the outside edge, and just blend that dark to medium and then medium to light, and I think it's such a pretty look. I like these 2 colors for a traditional egg looking color. And then now I can go ahead and color in one of my favorite images to color, which is this Easter egg with all the jelly beans coming out. It's just really fun to do the shading around the jelly beans and color all those little beans in fun colors. So I'll add some extra shading there on the inside of the egg behind the jelly beans. And then now I can add some quick color to all of my beans in the same way that I did the eggs. So dark at the bottom and then light towards the top, just to give it a little something so that it's not just one color, but it makes it pretty easy to be able to color it quickly. And then here you can see all of my colored images. I went ahead and colored those jelly beans there to the right the same way I did the other beans. And now I'm ready to die cut. So I'm just going to bend them apart at those wire tabs, and then it's going to separate all of my dies. And I can just line them up with my stamped images, hold them in place with some low tack tape. I'm using post-it note tape here. Run them through my die cut machine and have perfectly cut images every time. I just love it. This is one of my favorite die cuts because it cuts in between the bow and the Easter eggs, which I think looks so cool. And here you can see all of the cute, fun images together. These are so great for making cards. I thought it would be fun to make a goodie bag with the new Let's Polka Mon Ami papers and the new pint-sized patterns papers. They're really great for combining together. So I'm going to use this pint-sized pattern here, this nice blue little grid, and run it through my die cut machine with the goodie bag twice so that I'll have my 2 pieces, both the front and the back of the bag. So now that those 2 pieces are ready to go, I'm going to decorate it first before I assemble the whole bag. So I'm cutting here this mint line dance paper from Let's Polka Mon Ami, and that's going to be my grass on my card. So right now I'm going to go ahead and place my bunnies on the card and decide how high I want my grass to be, because I wasn't quite sure, and so I thought by placing all of my images there onto the goodie bag I would have a better idea as to where that grass needs to be. So now that I've got it, I'm going to hold it with some low tack tape in place, die cut it, and now I have this cute little striped grass to work with. And my bunnies will be able to be hiding in the grass, which I think is so cute. So I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the back of my panel, and then some foam adhesive on the top of the bunnies, but just tape runner on the bottom. That way they'll kind of look like they're tucked in the grass, but yet they still have some dimension on top. And then I can start assembling the bag. And I have a video on how to assemble this bag that I'm going to link to above, just in case you haven't assembled the goodie bag before. But now that I've got all the things creased, I'm going to add my adhesive and assemble my bag and create this cute little treat bag that I just love. Now that everything's adhered together, I can pinch it closed and it's ready to go. Now, I wasn't too sure about my sentiment at the bottom. I thought it was kind of plain. So I decided to cut another piece of grass and add a little piece of purple cardstock at the bottom just to get the whole purple theme I've got going. And so I ripped off the other grass, added some adhesive to the back of this one, and I'm just going to glue it right on top and nobody will know that I made that change. But I think it looks a lot nicer and it's nice to have the purple in one other place on the goodie bag. And now here I have some orchid lawn trimmings and I'm just tying a cute bow on top, and this bag would be perfect for giving someone some cute bunny shaped chocolates. And now that I've got my goodie bag created, I thought it would be fun to make a really simple card using our new stitched square dies. So I've got my fun little Easter basket and sentiment there, and I went ahead and die cut that stitched square, and I'm using our new black licorice ink, which is the best ink for sentiments. Oh my goodness, it's so nice and bold. It just looks so great, especially on that white cardstock. And then I'll go ahead and use the next largest stitched square die to cut this great pink cardstock, so that I can layer them together and it's going to pick up on the pink Easter eggs that are in the basket. I thought it would be fun to layer some of the other elements that I colored earlier, but the jelly beans that I colored earlier didn't really match. So I just went ahead and recolored them with colors that match the Easter egg. And now I can layer those on top of the basket. And just to give it just a little fun extra something, I'm going to layer the Easter egg behind. That way it kind of gives the card a little dimension since it's pretty simple. Then I can layer my two stitch squares together, and that stitching edge just adds a nice finishing touch. I have a 4x4 inch card base here. I'll just layer my stitched panel on top. And then I'm going to add some glitter with a Wink of Stella glitter pen to the jelly beans and also just the bottoms of the Easter eggs. I thought it looked kind of cool for the shaded part to have the glitter and the lighter part to not have it. So it's just a nice little extra sparkle. And then I thought it would be fun to make one more card and show that this bunny doesn't necessarily have to be a chocolate bunny. So I'm going to make him more of a white bunny. And I'm using these really light warm grays so that he still looks white, but he's like a little bit dirty. I kind of like that look for critters. This is really good for like cows and things like that too. It just gives a little extra dimension, but they still appear pretty white. So I'm just adding shading in a really similar way that I did the chocolate bunnies, but I go from dark to medium and then to the colorless blender to blend out the gray into the white of the bunny. So I think it looks really cool. I'm just going to keep blending it some. And then I can go ahead and add the little pink ears and nose. And give him a little turquoise bow, which I thought would look really pretty with the pink ears. So you'll see here I'm touching the tip of the light marker to the dark marker just to create kind of a medium shade to help me blend the two into each other. And now I can use my coordinating die to cut him out. And I'm going to go ahead and use those tulips with him. I wanted to get a really different look from this card, not so smiley. I thought it would be nice to have some pretty tulips and a cute little white bunny. And so I've got a Let's Polka Mon Ami there in the vanilla, and here is the mint line dance. And so I went ahead and cut some grass there. And when I started putting the card together, I realized the grass was too high. So I just cut it again with the circle, just lifted the circle up a little bit, and now that grass is the perfect height. So I'll add some foam adhesive to the grass and add it to my circle. And then I can start layering in all my pieces. So I want one of the tulips to be all the way in the background. And then I'm going to pop the bunny up, but yeah, I'm just putting adhesive there at the bottom just to give him some dimension, but that way he'll line up with the grass. And then double foam adhesive on the other tulip, once again, just to get a nice dimensional look. And I thought it would be nice to use that same pink cardstock I used earlier. I think that pink is just so pretty. So I rounded the bottom edges of a 4x4 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to layer that on a 4x4 inch card base. And then here I have a piece of vellum, which I thought was a great little accent for behind my little bunny circle there, but not too much, not so much as pattern paper, but at least it's a little something. Now I have a really dull blade on my paper trimmer right now, and I have those rough edges. If you take your bone folder and you just rub your bone folder over those rough edges, it makes them look really nice. So I need to go buy a new blade, but until then I'm going to rub the edges with the bone folder. I'm stamping my sentiment on the inside of the card, and then I'm putting adhesive on my piece of vellum where the bunny is going to cover it, since you can see through the vellum. And so you'll see there that even though you can see that adhesive, when the bunny goes on top, it'll cover it, and you'll get that great translucent look. And then I'll add some glitter to the dark parts of the tulip and to the bunny's little bow too. And here you can see that fun sparkle. And I just love this card, and I love that it's a very different look using the same stamp set. And here you can see all three projects together. This kind of sweeter card, the fun goodie bag, and the really silly happy Easter basket. So this is Eggstra Special Easter and its coordinating dies, and I love this set so much. I love that you can make cute little goodie bags, fun happy cards, and really sweet cards too. I just love that bunny so much, and I cannot wait to see what you guys create with this set. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an extra special day. Bye!